Ken with MrTruck.com. I love these in-office videos. You don't know if I'm wearing pants or shoes or anything, man. It is so cool. And I'm going to talk about project trucks. You know, I started on these a long time ago, actually, and it always takes a while to get everything put together. Save up the money to buy parts, you know how that goes. And I've got this 1994 Dakota. It's got a V8 318. And
MrTruck here with a new project truck. This is just too cool. I've been waiting to get them all three back, all three, the big three Detroit trucks. And now I've got them. This is my last one. I've always wanted these Dakotas. They're quite an interesting truck. They were out 25 years. But you know, they didn't just go extinct overnight because they had big problems. They had small problems.
And Ruben's my mechanic, the owner of Colorado Transmission in Greeley. And he's going to do an overkill transmission in it, an automatic, like we did to Dodgezilla. But this is also going to kick off our new segment called Wrenching with Ruben. So hopefully we'll get him involved in a lot of projects and you'll be able to ask him questions. So that should work out. He's got more shop space now, which I have plans for that shop space. Should be fun. And you know, he's a real big transmission expert. He's worked for a lot of places and he's been in his own shop for many, many years. And the other project truck that you see me take pictures of is the GMC. It's a 1996 2500 heavy-duty extended cab, short bed, four-wheel drive, and it's lifted, just like that 94 Dodgezilla I had, that 1500. It's got a 4-inch lift, 3-inch body lift, so it's way up there. It's a cool truck. It's got an awesome hood scoop. It's got a lot of things, a lot of options that somebody else added to it. And we started working on it, and what we knew then was the drive shaft was broken on the rear drive shaft, and the transfer case was broke off. And, you know, when he started fixing all that, he figured it all out that on the rear, one of the 4-inch lifts was broke. So that tilted the truck and probably caused all those problems and tore off the transfer case. So anyway, so he got the transfer case in, did the universal joints and the drive shaft, and then he, you know, the engine took a dump, the 454. I love that engine, one of my favorite engines. On the farm I had one in a 3500, a C30, I guess it's a C30, two-wheel drive, and that thing lasted forever. I put two engines in it. Of course, I had 300,000 miles, and I did a lot. I was having 25,000-pound trailers with it. So we went through a lot of parts on that puppy. But I love that engine. This is fuel injected, so I was all excited about having it. When I bought it, the guy said it only had 50,000 miles on a rebuild. Of course, you know, it's Craigslist, Facebook, you know, I tell you a lot of stories that aren't true. So that didn't turn out to be the case, because now I have to go look for 454. And, you know, it was not easy to find. I'm looking for 454, which is a 7.4 liter, or even an 8.1 liter. Those are hard to find too. He's going to figure out a way to make either one of those fit. But Ruben found one. It was on Craigslist. It might have been on Craigslist. On one of those two. And it was in Rock Springs, Wyoming, which is 6 hours away. It's way up there. And so I had to go get that and was lucky to find one. This guy just took it out of a 93 Suburban. And he had him do a video of it in the engine before he pulled it out. And it sounded good. And then he pulled it out the next day, and I came and picked it up. You know, went through 70-mile-an-hour winds all across Wyoming on I-80. And I used that Traverse. I had that puppy. That 2022 I was reviewing, so I put an ATV trailer in the back and took off. Thought I was going to save gas, but I didn't. In the wind, I was getting like 11. Sometimes it would shoot up, you know. Going downhill might get in the 20s. Sometimes it was 9, but it didn't average much over 11. So I probably would have been better off taking my pickup because I wouldn't have had a trailer. And, you know, trailers really take the fuel mileage. Even a small one does. It's amazing. I'm on my way to Rock Springs, Wyoming. Had to get gas the second time today. And I'm in just past Laramie. So, I'm trying to run this thing in two-wheel drive. Save gas. I'm only pulling my ATV trailer. Yesterday, Izzy pulled my car trailer, which was 5,000 pounds, right on the money for what this machine will do. But today I'm going to Rock Springs pick up an engine, a 454 cubic inch, 7.4 liter. because I need it for my project truck. Yeah, that's how project trucks are. Yeah, they have problems, and it keeps getting more until you're finished. So you always start out about $500–600. You end up with $6,000 when you got everything working. Actually, this one I paid $2,000. He actually only wanted like 15, but I was being nice. And then he screwed me on the title. It had a Wyoming title, and those have to be notarized. So he started signing everything, and now I got about 20 pages of paperwork to do to get into a Colorado title. It's really weird. Nobody else does that I were in an area but Wyoming. They're the ones that make you notarize titles. And even the receipts you have to notarize. So anyway, so that's my epidemic. But the truck is a 1996 2500 GMC. It's 4-inch lift, 3-inch body lift, so it's way up there in the sky. Let's see, which way am I going? I guess I'm going to go this way. West on I-80. Wind is terrible. We're been 75 mile per hour is the speed limit to this side of Laramie. Then you go on the west side of Laramie, it shoots up to 80, like everybody else is, you know, Utah, Nevada, and all those places. But Colorado, of course, isn't. But anywho, so the engine, I ran it before I loaded it over in Buena Vista is where I bought the thing. It got screwed. But anyway, the engine sounded fine. Of course, the drive shaft was off. It was busted, and the transfer case was busted, so I couldn't do a whole lot with it. But yeah, so now I got the engine. I brought it back to Ruben, and he's going to check it all out. And it's got port injection, not the multi-port injection or multi-position injection like mine has. So we got to take the intakes off and move all that stuff over. So, you know, Ruben knows what he's doing. He's going to get it all figured out. And, you know, it'd be another project for him to do and another project for me to video and show you folks what he can do. But, yeah, that, you know, it was really weird, too. On the way back, the gas mileage was going down. So I don't know if that's when President Biden dumped a bunch of that special fuel that we save up, or what the deal was, but it was really weird going through all those towns. And towns are a long ways apart in Wyoming. Now this one, you know, this is 454. It's supposed to have 80,000 miles on it, but you know, I heard it running, and then the other one, I actually heard it running before I loaded on the trailer. So I don't know if that means a whole lot, but we'll find out. Ruben's figured he'll fix anything. But now, you know, we got to work on the injection part, get that multi-point fuel injection added to it, and check everything out. And of course, you know, now we got the transfer case fixed, the rear drive shaft. So I'm going to have him check out the transmission. I may want to put an external cooler on if it doesn't have it. You know, GM's famous for doing all that, running the tubes to the bottom of the radiator crap, which I'm not fond of now that everybody does it. But, you know, that we're going to be doing that, and then we'll work on the Dakota and get it running. I think it's the closest, and I really want to get it running.
Well, this is the 318. It's got a regular air filter on it. It's got air. Look at this. The alternators up here for water fording. That's the new thing. Everybody's put their air alternators up high so you can go water fording. Like I'm going to go water fording. Anyway, there's your computer, your CPU unit. Pretty well easy to get to. I like to put headers on it. But that's the 318, same one I had in Dodgezilla. And you know, you got ABS brakes. I think this was the first year they did the airbag. And I think it's one of their higher tech ABS for the brakes on it. But it's pretty simple to work on, pretty simple to get to. It's got all the canisters, the cruise, the air conditioning. We'll just have to see what she needs, and I haven't seen it leaking any oil. So I'm tickled about that. The engine purrs like a kitten. I love this.
That Dakota, you know, I've had 318s in a 1975, what is it called, a D100, a half-ton, full-size. And it was a two-wheel drive, but I got 20 miles a gallon with that, so I'm thinking the Dakota is going to do the same thing for me. And that V8, it's powerful, and it purrs like a kitten. That just needs transmission. That's the thing about Dodges back then, the 80s and the 90s. You can buy them cheap because they've all got bad transmissions, automatic transmissions, and Dakotas and Durangos. They're, you know, the Dakota I bought for $500. And, you know, that Dodgezilla, which was also a 94, like what the Dakota is, it cost me $600 because I paid him an extra 100 so that he'd hold it for me and not let this other guy get it that was on his way. So I wasn't being nice, but anyway, I got that all settled into. But that's why I like to buy old Dodges. You can buy them for, you know, $500. And this Dakota's in great shape. It just, you know, the body's in great shape because I don't like to do body work, so that's what I look for. But, you know, yeah, and that old Dodge that got me 200 or 20 miles a gallon back in 75 was when the year it was. It has a carburetor. So now with fuel injection, everything should be so much better. So I have high hopes for this Dakota for what it'll do on the road. And it's a four-wheel drive. It is a club cab, and it's got seatbelts for 3 in the back. And it's, you know, it's got a 6.5-foot bed. It's actually the same length as the GMC with its extended cab and short bed, 6.5 foot. So they both fit the trailer the same. I was kind of surprised. But I have a lot to talk about with the Dakota when we get that rolling. But, you know, I traded, you know, I gave Ruben the Jeep, my 1987 Jeep Wrangler. I love that Jeep.
Okay, now my next project for the Jeep, after we've done all that to it, I also got some spacers I'm going to put on here. You know, I put a seat, a steering wheel. But now I've got a 10,000 pound.
But, you know, Ruben needs a Jeep. He's going to put a V8 in it, an automatic, take out my inline 6 4-liter high output and my 15, what is it called? Anyway, it was a 5-speed, but it was a Toyota transmission, like an X15, I think. Really great transmission. So he's going to take all that out and do his own thing. So that's fine. Hope he has fun with that Jeep. I had a lot of fun. I wasn't planning on getting rid of it. But I did do, you know, the Jeep was in 10 videos. That's about what you end up having to get rid of them at. So, you know, I pick up trucks as a project. They fit my channel better. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get these 2 project trucks running and do a lot of videos, have fun with them. And that, you know, that big GMC, that's lifted. My gosh, it's tall. We'll do some things. I might put a flatbed on. I haven't quite figured it out. But we'll try to keep you updated on that and start doing videos of actually working on these trucks so you can see what I'm up to. So, stay tuned. I'll show you some pictures of what's going on. But I hope this engine works out. It doesn't matter because Ruben's a great mechanic. He can fix anything, and, you know, he's on top of it. So it's good working with him, and we should have fun doing a series of videos with him, and you'll learn stuff.
Don't go away, MrTruck.tv. We'll be right back.
Hi, it's Kent with MrTruck.com. Another review, a product review for trucks. And this time it's Roadmaster active suspension. Now, I've heard about this for years and years and years. All of my friends have them. They all bragged about them. But I didn't understand how you could put a half a spring on half of a leaf and how that would work. But now I know how it works against the shackle, the hinge of your leaf spring, and how that tightens it up and controls the leaf, which is what. So it's kind of like an anti-sway bar. It does a lot of things to control the motion back there. And you don't want a whole lot of motion back there, especially with an empty truck. Where you're on a loaded truck, you want to control that, but an empty truck is really squirrely. You need a lot of control there. You just saw the Roadmaster controlling the factory leaf spring. And that's what it does. It controls it during a wheel hop when the axle's trying to bounce and then go sideways on you. Controls the axle wrap, which is the drive shaft, universal joints and the pinion, all torquing too much angle because of the leaf springs turn into like a big S. It actually bends the factory leaf springs going through axle wrap. And just shows you just how easy it is to install. It's very quick installation. I think I did it in 30 minutes. And then in here it shows, you know, how I installed it. You install it to the eye in the front. The part goes underneath the leaf springs, and this part cups back over by the shackle.
So thanks for watching. Try to subscribe, tell your friends about it, and we'll see you at the gas station.